Boom, boom, boom. You know what it is. Geeks are back on the scene. Picks and predictions. UFC Vegas 71 going down at the Apex. We are in for the main card. Every single fight from the bottom to the top. Opening up the main card, we have a scrap, dude. This is a huge banger. Jeremiah Wells, 11-2-1, coming out against Matthew, Semi the Jedi, Semmelsberger, 11-4. Man, oh man, this is a huge fight for the 170 division. The winner of this is definitely going to be seen as like that guy catapulting onto the scene per se. Definitely looking at the rankings and whatnot. Jeremiah Wells is a freaking steel shit house. I mean, this guy is so strong, bro. And he's got this really high pedigree of jiu-jitsu. This guy is a scary guy to be on the mat with. He is explosive as they come. I'm definitely scared for Semmelsberger in the first round. I mean, it's dangerous with anybody. You know, Jeremiah Wells is like that. But Semmelsberger really was prepared good. He did just face a pretty explosive wrestler in what was that young kid's name? Is AJ Cunningham or
AJ Fletcher.
AJ Fletcher? AJ Fletcher, very similar matchup here, but I am gonna take Jeremiah Wells just to be a bit higher level. I think that he's gonna have more experience. He's in a high level room over there, Philly Jiu-Jitsu. I think that Semmelsberger is really good on the feet, and he shows a lot of improvements in his last fight. But I think Jeremiah Wells and his stylistic approach is just going to be a little bit too overwhelming for Semmelsberger in this matchup. So give me Jeremiah Wells. I could see a decision. I could also see a sub. What do you got, Dano?
I'm gonna ride with Semi the Jedi because I remember I was all over Jake Matthews in his last fight against Semmelsberger, and Semmelsberger made me eat my words, put a whooping on Jake Matthews. So I think my take for this fight is we got a big muscled up fighter. Gosh, what's his name slipping? Jeremiah Wells, right. Big muscled up Jeremiah Wells. I feel like if Semmelsberger, he's not bad in the wrestling department. He's got some all right takedown defense. If he stuffs a couple takedowns, keeps Jeremiah Wells at the end of his jab, it could be one of those cases where we get the big muscled up guy underwater round 2, maybe end of round 1. We start to see that tank falling off. Wells is pretty good, though. So on the flip side of this argument, Wells is good. Wells has shown pretty much everywhere he's good. He's got some knockouts, got some really good wrestling, but I think Semmelsberger is just gonna have a good fight this time. Stuff a couple takedowns, and then drown Jeremiah Wells.
Yeah, I could see gas tank being a problem in this, or at least playing a part. Goosey, what do you got?
Going Semi the Jedi here. We've seen him be able to manage and hold his own against power strikers. I think Wells power striking and takedowns, but he's getting takedowns at his 12% clip right now. I think Semi the Jedi stuffs him pretty well, and when he does get to the ground, he's able to get to his feet. We've seen him over 3 rounds be able to push the pace and win in the later rounds. Jeremiah Wells, on the other hand, we have seen what looks to be gas tank issues. He's very, very muscled up. It takes a lot of oxygen. And then just at the outside looking in, you got Semi the Jedi, Matthew Semmelsberger, 6'1", 30 years old. He's in his prime. Jeremiah Wells, 36. Not to say he's not in his prime, but he's on the back end for sure. He's 5'9" as well. I think that will play a factor if it's stuck on the feet. So I'm gonna pick Matthew Semmelsberger to get it done.
Yeah, this fight's gonna be crazy, man. Front kick, what do you got?
This is one where I'm gonna ride with Semmelsberger. Money's going towards Semmelsberger, but I am scared of Wells's pop. That boy has some hard hands, and we've seen what Morano can do. I mean, that fight did not go Matt's way, but if Wells could lay some good hands on Semmelsberger, I need to see that chin hold up. But I'll give him props. I'm riding with Semmelsberger if he can eat some of these shots and weather the storm and keep going. So, but yeah, give me Semi to Jedi.
All right, sounds good. Moving into the next one, we got a female boot. This one is a strawweight scrap. Yasmin Lucindo, 13-5-0, coming out against Brogan Walker, 7-3-0. I'm gonna take the over 2.5. And what do you got, Goosey?
Yasmin Lucindo. I mean, if you're Brogan Walker, she just looked really bad against Juliana Miller to the point that people were putting Juliana Miller up to like minus 500, and then an absolutely catastrophic performance at UFC London for Miller. Brogan Walker, I'm going to do some MMA math here. Take the younger girl, take the girl that likes to get the fight to the ground. Yasmin Lucindo is going to be the pick for me.
What do you got, Dano?
Here's my take on this fight. We got Brogan Walker, who lost in the Ultimate Fighter Championship, right? And the whole point of the Ultimate Fighter is if you win, you get in. If you lose, you're out. Well, she lost and she's in, right? So I feel like this is one of those where the women's flyweight division, they need bodies. They're gonna take the winner. They're gonna take the loser. They might even take some other girls that were on the show. They just need bodies to fill. Like Goose was saying, we got a 34-year-old Brogan and a 21-year-old prospect coming up on a main card. I feel like they're setting up the young prospect. And I'm gonna ride with Lucindo.
What do you got, Frankie?
I'm riding Lucindo just strictly based off of the age gap, but both these girls coming off of losses, both of them riding negative strike differential, so it's a tough pick for me. But I'm if they were closer age, but because of that age gap, I'm riding Lucindo.
All right, moving into the next boot, we've got OG Bobby Green. Let's go. 29-14-1, coming out against Jared Gordon, 19-6. I'm taking Bobby Green. I think that it's really hard to take down Bobby Green. And if Jared Gordon can't get this fight to the mat, then he's going to be in some deep shit. Especially as these rounds go on. Bobby Green likes to build up. Coming off his first ever, I'm not sure if it's his first ever, but first one in a while, knocked out clean by Drew Dober. That was definitely a different scene for Bobby Green. He was on a huge wave. It started to slow down, and it kind of came to a complete halt with that. So I would not want to be the guy in the looking across the ring from Bobby Green after that. I think he's going to be a whole nother beast. He's going to be having a whole bunch of shit to prove. And this is just such a good matchup for him. A guy that, all he's really got to worry about is that takedown. And he should be able to really land that jab and get after it on the feet with the combos. So, of course, Jared Gordon's got a little bit of pop. He's got those overhands and whatnot, but Bobby Green's been seeing a whole lot more than that in the last few scraps. And this is definitely a fight that's built for him to get some balls hit off the tee. So let's get that work, Bobby Green. Goosey, this is one of your favorite fighters. Let's get a wrap on it here.
Going with the OG King Bobby Green in this one. One of the sickest fighters in the UFC, dude. Take this week, go back, watch a few of Bobby Green's fights, and you will thank yourself for it. You'll thank me for recommending it because he's in bangers. He's always entertaining. He has that slick shoulder roll style. He's throwing straight punches, getting out of range. It's just so yeah. I think he'll be able to stuff the takedowns. Jared Gordon, he does have good pressure, but he doesn't have the best takedowns themselves. So if he can't get this fight to the ground, I really don't see him winning the fight unless Bobby Green's chin just doesn't come back, which he's taken some months off at this point. I think he'll be ready to rock in there. Stylistically good matchup for him to bounce back. And to be honest, I could see him putting Jared Green on the ground here. I don't know if he'll finish him, but I do think he does get a knockdown in this one.
Let's go, Frank. What do you got?
I'm riding Bobby Green. KO. I'm gonna ride KO. Jared hasn't been touched up in a while, but he has been cracked before. It's been a minute, but Bobby Green, definitely the type of dude to do it. If you, like Goose said, if you can't get the takedown, like Dober had issues getting, it's going to be a rough night for your chin. And if you don't got that Drew Dober marble slab on your shit, it's going to be a rough night. So I'm taking Bobby KO. money line is moving fast. He opened up at like minus 130-ish, and now he's at minus 250. So it's going quick. So either get it in soon or put a dabble on KO.
Let's go. Let's go. Daniel, what do you got?
Yep, I'm with you guys. I'm taking OG Bobby Johnson. I think Jared Gordon's gonna have a tough week because he is gonna be bombarded by questions of the Paddy Pimblett fight. He's gonna be trying to defend himself. He might even be taking shots at Paddy Pimblett. So it might be one of those fights where his mind's just not in it, and then boom, he looks across the octagon and he's got Bobby Green across from him, who Bobby Green before, yes, he did get knocked out pretty badly by Drew Dober in the round before that. He was kind of styling on Drew Dober. He was in a toe-to-toe fight with Zayev, and I just think just those two fighters alone are on a different level than someone like Jared Gordon. I think I don't know about a TKO or anything like that because I think Jared Gordon's pretty durable himself, but I do think Bobby Green will style on Jared Gordon this week.
Fair enough. All right, moving into the next one. We have got the this is a middleweight scrap. Brad Tavares, 19-7, coming on against Bruno Silva, 22-8-0. This is gonna be a really good one. I was loving the looks of this when they added this to the card. I'm taking Bruno Silva in this matchup. Definitely an interesting take. When I first saw it, I was leaning Tavares because I was just thinking about all the stand up and everything, and just him being able to float around the octagon, use his movement. But then I really started to think about it more and more, and I'm really liking Bruno's power in this. And I'm really looking back at the the resumes and whatnot. And Tavares hasn't been in there in a good long while now. It's been about 8-9 months. And I remember seeing him on Instagram all the time. He's at all the Raiders games. He's killing beers. He's doing his thing. I know that Bruno Silva's been, locked in. He's off 2 losses. He really needs one here. And a loss to Alex Pereira is not a bad thing. That fight was insane. I think that he's seen a lot on the feet and that he's just going to, get better in this spot. So I'm liking Bruno Silva's improvements and all that is on the line for him in this. And I'm not really sure what Brad Tavares was doing, with all that time off. So I'm going to take Bruno Silva to have made the bigger adjustments, bigger steps in that time off. So that's what I'm riding. What do you got, Dano?
I'm riding with Brad Tavares. I really like Brad Tavares, and I'm laughing because I looked up this fight on Google, just the UFC card, clicked on it, and they got Bruno Silva's last fight against Tyson Nam. Little mix up between the Bruno Silvas. Obviously, this one is the middleweight guy. I think Brad Tavares is going to break Bruno Silva. I think the Gerald Meerschaert performance of Bruno Silva was very disappointing. I'm sure the Pereira one scared the hell out of Bruno Silva, not literally, but I'm sure Pereira's a scary guy. But I think Tavares is true as it gets. He's a true vet of the game. He's been there, done that, and he's been in there with the who's who. I think Bruno Silva kind of hit his ceiling. He does have a lot of power and he's got some good jiu-jitsu, but I just feel like Brad Tavares is just really good everywhere. Maybe not great in certain aspects, but just really good everywhere. I think that this will go into the later rounds, and I think we'll see Brad Tavares pick it up late second, early third, and throughout the rest. So Brad Tavares.
Yeah, lost to Dricus is not bad. Goosey, what do you got?
So in Bruno Silva's career, we've seen a tale of 2 different fighters. You get the guy that shows up and has a war with Alex Pereira, loses a pretty close decision, and then you have the same guy turn around, get dropped, and eventually finished by Gerald Meerschaert in the 3rd round. The difference in those 2 fights is the threat of the takedown. All right. And Brad Tavares, very good at keeping the fight from getting to the ground. He can stuff takedowns all day. He doesn't get takedowns that well, and he doesn't keep the fight on the ground that well. So I think if you're going kickboxing for kickboxing, I'm going to take Bruno Silva in this one. I do expect this to be a majority stand-up fight. If Tavares does come out and get some grappling going, obviously that would be a good path to victory for him. But he's averaging like 0.8 takedowns per UFC fight. I don't think that's going to be enough to really throw Silva off his game. He's got pop on the feet. He throws good volume, and he's pretty hard to hit when he's not worried about the takedown. So I'm gonna pick Bruno Silva here.
Let's go front kick. What do you got?
I'm riding with Bruno Silva as well. This dude has some pop in his hands, and the last fight against Duplessis, I'm looking here just because I wanted to know how many shots he ate against Duplessis, because 123. No, all right, 113 significant strikes. If you get hit with 113 significant strikes against Bruno Silva, you're not going to. You're gonna get hit with a lot less, and you might go to sleep because this dude hits hard as fuck. You can't be getting pieced up that much fighting a dude like this. Like Goose said, the threat of the takedown is not going to be there as much as it was with Mearshart, the guy who's looking to get it to the ground. I'm liking what Goose is thinking on this one. I think the chin is not going to hold up. Bruno Silva's got the pop, heavy pop, 22 wins and fucking 19 knockouts. That shit's ridiculous, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Bruno Silva KO for the people that look for the specific path to victory.
And that Pereira fight was nuts. I mean, people really don't look at that. Like, Pereira did not just walk through Bruno Silva. Like, that was a war. That was a war.
All right, let's go. We're moving into the main event here. We've got the big hitters. Sergey Pavlovich, 17-1, coming out against Curtis Blaydes, 17-3. I'm gonna ride Curdy B. Even though I'm getting mad, like really bad visions of like things that Sergey could do to him. That Derek Lewis knockout will never go away in my mind, of just that corpse just tilting and slowly falling over. Pavlovich has some serious pop, and if Curtis Blaydes can't get a takedown, this is going to be really interesting. But the thing is that I'm getting this extra juice because Curtis Blaydes just looks so good against Aspinall, and I have really high regards when it comes down to Aspinall. So I'm thinking Curtis Blaydes comes out, shows us what he was going to show us in the Aspinall fight, mixes it up, gets a couple takedowns, grinds this one out. I could see him getting a ground and pound finish. 17-1 is Sergey Pavlovich. His only loss, ground and pound finish to Alistair Overeem. So do a little bit of MMA math there. Curtis Blaydes gets this done by ground and pound, and I'll say he gets it done in round 4. What do you got, Goosey?
I'm riding with Curdy B. That's the boy. Going back, I picked him to be champ at the end of this year at heavyweight. I could still see it, even though that division's rolling slow right now. I think he's got what it takes here. Pavlovich, obviously very dangerous, a lot of knockouts, but he's a guy that has to do it early. I think every knockout he has is in the first round. If it gets past that, he either wins by decision, or he got TKO'd by Alistair Overeem. So I think Curtis Blaydes gonna get that takedown defense going early. We'll see the arms get tired. The punches won't have as much sting on them. The legs will go. And then Curtis Blaydes is in his element, just ragdolling, getting him to the ground, rinse and repeat. Obviously, dangerous early, but I think that a lot of his recent success, Tai Tuivasa turned around on very short notice. He should not have been in that octagon after he fought at UFC Paris. And Derek Lewis, a little bit of an early stoppage. I don't know. He probably would have had the same result if the ref let it go, but I think you mix the takedowns in there, you grab a hold of Pavlovich, make him throw him off you. I think it's a good recipe for Curtis Blaydes in this one. And then, he's got knocked out 3 times, but 2 were by prime Francis Ngannou, and 1 he got caught with an uppercut by Derek Lewis in a fight that he was winning, and it was like late in the second round. I don't think Pavlovich is going to have that pop after the first 5 minutes, like I said. Curtis Blaydes, TKO, that's my pick.
Front kick.
I'm riding with Curdy motherfucking B on this one. And I love Pavlovich, and the dude's just a killer. This fight is I've been really looking forward to this one. But this fight is just, It's right there for Curdy B to just stop this train. He's just got to get that takedown. And I mean, this dude he's only been to a decision 3 times in his career. So I mean, and dude, Curtis could really just put a wearing on his gas tank, and it's just looking like the right path is there set for him. He just can't get caught. Can't get caught. But I won't be surprised if Sergey does it again. Won't be surprised, I'll tell you that. But I'm pulling for Curdy B. USA, let's go.
Dano, wrap it up.
I love it, but I am going to be siding with Sergey Pavlovich in this one. It's one of those fights where you look at it and you think main event couple weeks away. Oh, how does that go? Oh, I see a Pavlovich knockout. Oh, fights next week. What did it go? I got a Pavlovich knockout. And now that I'm really thinking about it, I just can't get that out of my head. Pavlovich has been too destructive in the past. I could see him. What I see is him being in close, whether it's stuffing a takedown or they're in the clinch. Pavlovich hits him with a little yo boss elbow and then wobbles Curdy B. And he just has too much power for me to overlook. And I like what you guys are saying about the wrestling, and I could totally see that. But for me, Pavlovich is too much of a beast, and I don't think the train stops.
All right, fair enough. Those are the picks and predictions. Main card full scoop. Get after us on Instagram. YouTube blowing up. Drop a subscription, drop a like, drop a comment. You know what it is. We going live. Peace out.